Should new designers prioritize aesthetic mastery, technical skills, or strategic thinking when entering the workforce? Or is there anything else apart from these three that um, designers should prioritize? I think to add to the point you mentioned earlier, it's high degrees of adaptability, openness, flexibility uh, that one must keep in mind. Um, as with everything, drop expectations. Um, and coming into it with enthusiasm is always going to serve you a lot better than coming into it with or with resistance or I mean, as easy as complaining is, I believe you get more accomplished when you don't complain. So these are certain things that I adopted and that I saw helped me significantly when I started work. Like I saw myself fall into a few patterns of thought and few, let's say, behaviors that were not um, entirely conducive to, let's say, to growth, to overall growth of myself and where I was working. And it was not, I was not making the best use of that situation. And I'm glad that I had it in me that I could recalibrate quickly enough. But if this is something that I could tell someone else beforehand, or if this is something that, if this is one advice or if this is one suggestion rather, or more even better than telling this to someone else, if there is something that I could keep telling myself over and over again, it would be this: to not to be as enthusiastic as you can be, to be involved, to not complain, and to not have expectations.
I feel for me, going to this, like responding to this question, I would like to take the metaphor of like human anatomy, wherein, of course, like working in the visual field, I'm speaking more for like the communication design part of things and visual part of things. It is absolutely important as to how it looks to the eye, because that's where the whole visual game is. But at the same time, it is important that your skeletal structure is there to kind of back the whole appearance up, because without it, visuals are nothing, in the sense that, let's say you're working on a campaign. So you need to understand as to how does the platform that you're advertising it on, what are its internal functionings like, how many different versions of the ads do you need to make, what kind of visual hooks work for the people that you're trying to target, what cities are you going to kind of target it in, or what's kind of trending in those particular geographical, socio-economical, kind of factors that are into play of what you're working with. So when you have that kind of understanding to what you're making, I feel your work becomes very powerful than it just being visually interesting. It kind of hits a chord when you also have that structure, the systematic structural thinking to back that whole project up. So yeah, I think both of these would be equally important, like the visual aspect to it, and but having it on a base of very powerful systematic understanding of how things function. Like for example, even with packaging design, like you would make the most beautiful packaging product, but if it's something that is facing problems while getting printed, it's of no use. So you always need to have that understanding as to how you can practically make it work also. So yeah.
So it would be, I think it's a mix of technical skills and strategic thinking.
I think always take like people who are, let's say, into the production or the business side of things, and take their opinion in also, because it's not like you're giving in and you're letting your creative ideas go. It's just going to make your project stronger in the end when you
So
kind of
I,
protect it from all different aspects and sides
right,
of things.
right. So like This question basically phrases aesthetic mastery, technical skills, and strategic thinking as um, separate um, forces, but I think they are deeply interconnected. And I think aesthetic mastery is something that is uh, strongly incumbent upon having technical skills and strategic thinking. So they go hand in hand, obviously. And I believe if you're someone who's gunning for aesthetic mastery, even then, having technical skills or strategic thinking is always something that is going to complement aesthetic mastery as well.
Absolutely.
And if you're someone, let's say, who is more strategic or who is more technical, I believe you would make for someone who would be a great ally to someone who's more aesthetically inclined. Because I believe in balance, and I believe that when people with different skill sets come together, or who have, let's say, opposing ideas come together, they negate, let's say, um, the extremities of both opposing ideas.
Mm.
And like somewhere there is like a creative agreement that you have to come to, which is like the best of both worlds.
Absolutely. Mm.
So it basically like, I don't believe any of these function in isolation. You need all three, but I think it's great to work with someone who, like, it's great to work with someone who thinks very differently from you. I think that's always amazing.